From the very start, Montai has been designed to be a transit-oriented city, and after relying on a few temporary shuttle lines, it's now time to take our first major move in developing the city's transit master plan, connecting areas built up so far, as well as future-proofing new neighborhoods along the corridor. I'll also show how I approach transit capacity decisions, and finally, we'll kickstart a big box store neighborhood that has been highly anticipated by our residents. Right, so a huge task today in terms of transit expansion. So, just to recap again what we're going to do today, we are expanding the red line. So why I'm choosing to do this now is that we've gotten to a point where we do have pretty much developments in every part of this phase of the transit line. And it's reached a point where there is sufficient population across all of the areas that we're developing, where I feel the stations will actually start having enough passengers. So it makes sense overall. And then along this stretch as well, there are some new areas that haven't been developed. That way our transit line will be already prepared and developed, and so once that neighborhood is created as well, there will be transit on day one. So as part of our project today, we will also be building up the big box store area, which is an area I've been really wanting to build. I've just been waiting for the right assets for it, and we finally have them, so it's going to be part of today's project. The foundations of most of the metro stations that we're going to work with today are going to come from the station modules, or I think it's called Subway Freedom Pack or something. It's been on Paradox Mods for a while, and I love using it because what you do is you can actually place entrances and platforms any way you want, and they're all linked to one single station. So for example, with the big box stores, if I place down this node to start with, and then we... if we work around this name, so then you can see you can add all of the different things that you want. So you've got entrances, you've got platforms, and all of that, and you don't have to be restricted as to where in the area you're putting it. And I feel it's a lot more representative of how stations are built in real life, where there may be one or two platforms that serve a few lines, and then the multiple exits of the same station all serve those platforms as well. There is already an existing stretch from Westall Main to Cubby Cliff Central as part of our really kind of sporadic transit system at the moment. So basically what we've done so far is I've only built in areas where there are existing populations, but I want the red line to actually kind of cover the entire stretch that it needs to now. So where are we starting from? So Cubby Cliff Central, big box stores, then we've got the main station. Okay, we'll keep going here. So from Cubby Cliff Central, our plan is to turn over into the future stadium/arena area. So that's not developed yet, so we'll just kind of bypass it. Head on this way into the first part of Hammerson Pier, which also isn't developed yet, so this part will also get skipped. We're turning over here into the part of Hammerson Pier that we have developed, and this one will get a stop today. And it will actually turn into an area that we will reclaim in the future to form another neighborhood, before finally turning over into Portside. So if I place down the general route first, this is actually where I feel like the true style of how I play this game comes into play, because I love just kind of figuring out all of the subway line situations and things. And because we've been taking our time with this series, it's taken a year and a bit to get to this point. So I am very, very impatient to start to incorporate the transit side of things officially into this city. So, okay, we don't know where exactly the stadium is going to be, where the entrances are going to be. But because we have the freedom to then place the platforms where we want in the future, what I'm just going to do is create a stretch here that will be a good amount of a straight line for a start. Let's say about this much. So it covers the area. So regardless of wherever I'm going to place the platform, there is enough space for it, right? Then we keep going through to the first part of Hammerson Pier. And this will eventually be an interchange with the two tram lines that will be passing through in the area. So the Mint and the Lavender tram lines, of which the Mint line is actually this one. So as you can see, we already have the tram going. So this is what I mean, like there are bits of the overall transit plan here developed, but it's it's just all over the place right now. There's nothing tying it together, and so this is really the first project that I feel is going to do that. I'm being mindful that realistically, this is a very weird place to put like a tunnel if we were to just keep going, because you're kind of digging into the waterfront, and I think structurally that won't be great. So what we can do is I think we'll go up to about, let's say, where the red stops here. There'll be a platform that can find its place eventually in there. Then we are going to, rather than immediately go there, let's look over here. So assuming that the exit's going to be here, right? Because again, we don't have the fixed positions yet. I am going to align the platform with this area. It's just so I can make it like a smooth track, right? So a straight track all the way here. Then, let's see, like this, and a smooth corner. So there we go. Wow, how long? It's like all the way from here, all the way here, and we're not done yet, because from Hammerson Pier, we are turning back up into the neighborhood that will be reclaimed in the future. We'll go through what will be a future decommissioned train yard that doesn't exist. What fun. Just a bit here, and then there's going to be a major interchange to serve this really far out neighborhood, right? So it's going to be the red metro line, the blue metro line, which as you can see actually goes this way instead, and then the regional express train is going to come through this way and also have a terminal station here. Because it's so far out, I want to make sure that there's an easy, quick way to get to the city as well. So all the different lines serving the different hierarchy purposes that I discussed previously on the summary video. I might actually have to reclaim a bit of it now. So just to allow me to place the tunnels at a terrain height that is predictable. So we're gonna claim some of this. This is not how things would work in real life. But hey, this is a game. We don't have to follow real life. So a nice wide curve that will keep going. We're gonna... Okay, more terrain adjustments. Just a bit more. We were a little bit off. So once I do this, we should be fine. And then we go this way. Oh, actually, I noticed that we do have a reserve site over here. I'm wondering. Okay, we can, thankfully, because again, it's a game, we can adjust the rail in the future, but for now, I'm gonna make it go... And eventually, port site will be somewhere here. And actually, the red line will keep going all the way to Westport. But because I don't know what the plans are for Westport yet, we're going to say that the terminal station for now will be located at port site. So that's fine. I'm going to get the modular stations. For now, with the port site, actually, can I add a subway station? I cannot. Okay, so port site, I feel, will eventually be... maybe readjusted and redeveloped, because I don't know, this layout feels very temporary. Like we had the port kind of added here. I think once we develop the rest of this area, we'll have something else that we want to do with it. So I will just work with the existing layout. We are gonna place the exit. Okay, so the module will be here. Then let me add an exit here. Small entrance. So everyone who's coming from the ferry or just want to kind of transfer between the bus and stuff can enter the subway station from here. Then if we go underground, we'll get a 30-meter subway platform, and I'm going to place it over here. So not too close to the coast, because I think, again, structurally, you want to keep it further away. And that will actually give us a better idea of where the track should go. So I like to have the immediate track after a subway platform. Uh-oh, it's doing weird things. I like it to be kind of an extended stretch of straight line before we like kind of turn it off. I don't know why, it just feels more like you'll create a smoother access for the station. So there we go. Technically, right now I could actually just extend the existing red line all the way here already, but let's add some of the other stations as well. So Hammerson Pier, we'll get rid of the straight section here. I am going to place the module. Where shall we place? I'm going to place it here. because it's unlikely that we're going to develop anything on this spot, right? So that's one key, is that you do need to be able to access this thing and make sure that like it's easy to find, because it's invisible. Although in future you can always just click on any of the like extensions you add to it to kind of help you out, if you will. So we will eventually, I think, adjust this. Oh, I'm gonna place you here first. So one entrance there, so that at least for a start, Hammerson Pier's area will have a way to kind of use the line. I'm gonna put an exit here for now, so that, or actually wait, let me do it without snapping. So that we have our trams and our buses connected to the metro interchange as well. And then finally, where's our little square? Here we go. We are gonna add the subway platform. Oh no, I didn't actually pay attention to where my tunnel was. Oh, apparently I've done a good job, because it's exactly the right length. Like, that fits in perfectly. Amazing. Okay. Right. And I actually think, for the time being, that's all the stations we need. Should I do... Okay, we don't know what's gonna happen with the second, like, half of Harrison Pier, so I'm not going to add the station here yet. But when we start developing it, we're just gonna add it. So, that would allow for subway line tool. Let's go. Okay, this is where we're gonna start to perhaps see the true capacity needed for the line, because I'm gonna extend it from Cubby Cliff Central over to our terminal station, which is Portside. So there we go. So it's extended by quite a long way. Then we're gonna add the stations here at Hammerson Pier. And so this neighborhood no longer has to completely clog up my roads and bus service here with... See, how many buses do I have running? I've got 9 buses running in 7 kilometers, and they keep filling it up. So now that you have a direct way to get to Cubby Cliff without the bus, hopefully that will spread things out. Okay, that should be good for now. Oh, actually, wait. And pause before we start diagnosing capacity issues. We didn't add the replacement stations here at Cubby Cliff Central, so let me do that. And that is everything connected, I believe. Yes, Big Box Store already has the platform itself. I will be adjusting the exits though once we start developing the area. So let's take a look. So I'm gonna press play. Cubby Cliff Central. Let's go this way. So we've got Red Line 1 stretching 15.4 kilometers in 2 directions. So it's approximately 7.5 in one direction. Let me think about how we should accomplish this. So when I kind of think about how many trains I should be running, there are a few ways you can look at it. One is purely by capacity. So it's like, oh, if your trains are running at like half full versus quarter full, you want to keep it so that it's consistent. Another way to look at it is Headways. So basically, how many trains are in each kilometer, or like depending on how you calculate it. I like to count it by kilometer. So usually I will start with, say, having 1 train every 2 to 3 kilometers, right? So in this case, we have 15.4 kilometers of track. The reason why I do this instead of purely depending on capacity is that I also feel like sometimes maintaining a decent service level matters for people to want to use public transport as well. Like, you can't be waiting for a metro train for like 20 minutes, you know? So 15.4, if I did, say, a 2.5 kilometer gap between trains, we would need 6 trains, right? So for a start, I'm going to set it as that. Usually what I find with kind of building up the city and as your population grows is that the highest of highest metro lines I would do is maybe a train per kilometer. And so we would... Oh, no vehicles. Okay, we can rectify that. We would eventually increase the frequencies of the trains and the number of trains assigned to at most 15 trains, but that's like the peak of our service. So we won't have to use it if we find that our system's running fine, right? So speaking of running fine, we don't have enough vehicles, so let's resolve that. This is our temporary depot. We will be adding a proper one to our city at some point. So let me just do a few of these. Two. This is really terrible. Poor Cubby Cliff Valley, that's not supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be the area that has nothing being built in it. How are we doing? Let's give it some time to actually start spawning trains. How many did we do in the end? 6. Okay, so that's 2.5 kilometers. We shall see if things are going good. Like, right away, Cubby Cliff Central looks like it's getting some demand, which is expected because it's an existing neighborhood and it is quite a populated neighborhood at this point. Same thing with Westall Main Station. There are lots of interchanges happening in this area. We've got the buses, we've got the regional express train, and so I expect capacity there. My bigger questions are whether there's going to be capacity, or whether there's going to be demand, sorry, at our 2 new stations, which is Hammerson Pier and Portside. So at the moment, everyone's taking a ferry to get to Portside. I'm curious to see how that affects demand for our ferry line. As you can see, it was a pretty healthy kind of demand consistently throughout the day. And then with Hammerson Pier, will this start to kind of relax the amount of people using our Hammerson bus service, which at the moment it looks like it is. But you do need to let your services run for like a good day or two in the game, because there's different demands in the morning, in the evenings, when it's off-peak. And so right now, we are at pretty much off-peak at night, so I wouldn't say this is a good gauge of peak demand. So what I will do is I will let the game run for a bit. We will hit morning rush hour, and then we'll come back and observe whether or not our new metro line is making a difference. Welcome back. You join us at morning rush hour, where we're actually taking a subway train. So this is right before the kind of proper morning peak starts. So I just wanted to have a chance to take the subway train together with you in first person, so we have a chance to experience this. Oh, we're off. Okay, so we're starting from Westall Main Station, and we're just gonna... well, I guess we'll see how long we go until we get bored, but my hope is that we reach Portside. So I don't know why, like, I just find it interesting to be building all of the metro lines and things. I think the key is you need to be pretty much on top of keeping track of demand and stuff, and knowing as well that when you first start and you're just building one subway line, it's easy to keep track of how the things you're adding actually play an effect demand and supply of like commuters and stuff. Over time, the more lines you add, the harder it gets to actually tell whether or not what you've added is making a key difference. Like, you could be adding a station in one part of the island and your network, but then it actually somehow like creates a compounding effect where it negatively affects a different part of your network. So I don't know, I find that very interesting, and that's where the time sink of this game goes for me. And also, I forgot to mention earlier, like, other than just adjusting the number of trains that you have on your, like, subway lines and things, with mods, one more option that you can have is also having the number of cars on each train. So right now we are running 3-car trains, which I think have a maximum of 390 passengers. But it could be a case where instead of increasing the frequency of the trains, we increase the capacity per train. And so then that's another way to kind of customize and figure out what works best for the demand of the city, right? So far, as we are still kind of developing in the early stages of the city, I feel like a smaller train will work fine, and the headway we're currently working with. But you never know, and it's always good to plan for excess capacity, because like, our line is not fully developed yet. There's gonna be new residences, new offices and things, and you don't want a case where you're already running at max capacity before your city is fully mature, right? So where we actually, I was not paying attention. I think we are on our way through the stadium, based on those blue and red boxes above us, to Hammerson Pier. So there will be 2 stations in this stretch that we are now speeding through. And ultimately, again, our metro lines are meant to serve as the kind of... in our transport hierarchy, we had all of the different layers, right? The metro is supposed to give you a faster option to get between neighborhoods, districts, and regions. than the bus, so like the local services, but it won't be as fast as taking a regional transport option such as our regional trains. So that's kind of the happy medium that Metro sits. And I do feel like every city does need like a bit of everything. Like you need something that serves local, something that serves Metro services, and then something that does express trains. If you want to build something that is resilient and capable of replacing cars as a form of transport in most cases. Like case in point, I feel like where I live in Singapore, we do very well for local and metro services, but we don't have anything that is the equivalent of a regional express train that kind of gets you from one side of the country to the other quickly, right? And so we have this current issue where there's kind of a disconnect between how quickly a car can get from point A to point B versus how quickly the train can get. And so I think that's an opportunity for improving in that sense. So for Montai, we're going to try our best to make sure everything's covered. Anyway, so Hammerson Pier, now we are going through to the future reclaimed neighborhood. So this part's also going to be a temporary express route. Once all of the stations are built, the express train is the one that you want to take. Residents, if you're listening, take the express train if you want to go quickly. Metro train if you're trying to get to a specific stop along the network. So we're turning now. This should be now heading towards Portside. And that's going to be our terminal station for this phase of the line. So I think this will work well. Like I was observing the kind of commuter passengers and things over the last few hours at night. This is also a very trippy view, like the way things are just moving. There seems to be pretty stable, sustained demand. So now I'm curious, once we get out of this view, how it's doing during the morning peak hour. Surprisingly, a lot of people were going to Portside at night. It looks like right now, there is nobody. Or the platform's just way too long. Yeah, it looks like there's not much people actually. So, we've reached the end of the line. Thank you for joining this trip. Now, let's take a look. If I open here, how are we doing? Okay, it's a quiet start to the day. We are at 7:52 AM. And the funny thing with like this game is that the morning rush hour isn't quite what you think it is. It's like slightly later. So it might be around now that we'll start to see maybe a bit more people using it. It seemed like there were more people taking the subway past midnight than they currently are taking. Because when I was observing it at night, the two stations of Portside and West Isle Main had a lot of passengers, much more than what we're currently experiencing. So for where we're at with the number of vehicles and the headway and the frequencies, I am comfortable with this. Like nothing is bursting at the seams, nothing is also completely empty. We can work with this for now. So I'm gonna leave you, red line, to run for a bit while we try and encourage more people to use it by building a neighborhood along this line. So this is the big box stores area. This has been an area that I've been reserving for a project like what we're about to do. So context, we are a small mountainous city where land is limited. Every city, I feel, does need some kind of these big format stores, and in Montai, what we decided to do is actually reserve a plot of land pretty much right in the city fringe to allow for such developments to be conveniently located rather than only being outside of town. The flip side to this, as the person who approved this motion, I guess, is that unlike typical big box stores, what we're going to try and do is actually develop it in a way that also supports mixed use like development around or directly on top of said big box stores. So we are going to have some well-known flat pack furniture stores. We're going to have some well-known wholesale places that sell $1 hot dogs, I think. We don't have that in Singapore, so... But yes, okay, let me try and find my buildings, because we are going to be building with these wonderful, huge assets which were finally uploaded. Let me see which one's the one I was looking for. So we've got an IKEA, and we've also got... Let me just place it down for now so that we can see it in its full glory. So that's going to be one building we're working with. The other building... And I'm choosing this because Taiwan actually has Costco. Here we go. Okay, so Costco wholesale. I feel like this Costco is too small. So maybe we might double it up and actually place 2 next to each other. But I'm going to place one here for us to see. And then around it, we can have all sorts of smaller format standalone shops like a McDonald's perhaps. We've got a few different types of McDonald's actually, which is quite fun. What else do we have? So, like our McDonald's, we've got one here, like that, and then the second one, if I can find it. So, I have placed the first one before in Birdsong District, so we will probably use this one. And then there's also going to be stuff like a petrol station, things like that. Basically what you would see in a big box store area, right? And then maybe what I will do is like even Frankenstein some buildings on top. So let's say this building could maybe fit on top of a Costco like this, which I have seen. I think this is what they're trying to do now to make like affordable housing in the US, which is interesting. But say if we did something like this and then we kind of Frankenstein it, right? That could be a potential option for us to get around for it. But what I will say is that this side of the district/neighborhood is going to have like a proper housing neighborhood. So let's see what we can achieve for a start. So what I will do first is clear all of these. We're gonna start from a blank slate, and then can I radius delete and remove the trees as well, so that we're starting from a clean kind of space. We will need to do terraforming, it seems, because it's not particularly flat, right? So let's slow the game down to speed 1. So you can see like these bits are not particularly flat. I'm feeling like the IKEA is going to sit somewhere in this area because it is quite a big building. So let us flatten the terrain for a start. And then as we figure out the layout and stuff, if we feel comfortable kind of playing around with terraforming and things, we have the option to. But I do find this makes it a bit easier to start off your district. So bringing in one building at a time, right? So let's get our IKEA. Now, are you from a place of the world that says IKEA instead? It's very interesting because like in Singapore, I was always brought up with it being IKEA, and I thought I was the weird one. Because when you watch videos and stuff, they always like IKEA. If you're from the UK and the US, you would say IKEA. And then turns out, the Swedish people actually say IKEA. So, plot twist. Okay, then one option is for me to place it this way, right? But I'm also thinking whether that's very unsightly versus putting it this way. So I'm trying to see where to point the loading bays, basically. Although, considering that if I face it this way, so I'm going to place it down first. If I face it this way, there's not much development happening here. So like you wouldn't really see it. If I faced it this way, the entire of the city center actually sees that. So maybe that kind of decides the orientation for us, is that I'm going to place it in this direction. And it is on top of a cliff anyway, right? So what we could do is hide it with trees and stuff to make up for, you know, it being slightly unsightly. I do feel like that sign's a bit like... Because if you're coming from this way, there is no signage at all to say that it's an IKEA. Let's take a look. Or should I go crazy and find the static ploppable prop version of this and then do like a double up building, a jumbo IKEA like that? We will use the roof, however. If I can figure out which way... Oh, this is like a puzzle game. Which side? Does anyone see this? Is it this one? Okay. It should be this way around, and then lower it down to where it should be, and I hope that gets it to work well. Is that good? Okay, and then we shall place the sign. Oh, where do we place it? I'm gonna place you here for now. How about that? Oh, and I wish we had those little, you know those little flags that IKEAs always have, the vertical ones? Like they'll be in blue, yellow and stuff. That's okay. We'll leave space for it in the future. So I'm gonna go terraforming next, because there's a road here that we need to connect it to, right? So now it's a case of making it believable. What I will do, perhaps, is let's start by connecting. I'm gonna do a double road, like a 4-lane road essentially. Let me place just that down first because I want a cul-de-sac perhaps. And this cul-de-sac, I'm going to disable the building just so we focus on the roads for now. This cul-de-sac can lead into, I hope this works, alley, this way. Okay. So that will form our kind of connection to the building. And that, why I placed the alley was so that I can have that like little thing that juts out. The game won't automatically do that, unfortunately. I think for a, what's this, entrance lower level parking. Oh, I might have to kind of spend some time to detail this to make it look believable. But that's fine. So that would involve, so let's say one road here. Wondering whether we should make it directly go in. We'll do that for now, and then we shall see. What is this road going towards? I'm very confused by these roads. It might be a case of, let me just test this, because I'm realizing as well that the roads are left-hand drive, which is not what we're building. We're building in right-hand drive. Oh, okay, good. It's made up of these things, so I can remove them hopefully. Oh wait, no, there's a okay, wait, no. This has gone. It's the building that has lost it. There we go. I should have deleted that. It's fine. We'll add it back. There we go. Okay, not quite the same, but we'll go with it. We're gonna do a cul-de-sac again, everyone. And there will just be 2 alleys that go. One in here. Oh, I hope this works. It's very close to each other. Oh, you know what? No, I actually think the game will mess it up if I do that. So we'll leave it like this. There is a lot of weird stuff happening when it comes to like the props of the building popping in and out. I think once we stop touching the building, it won't do that anymore. But while we're setting it up, it's gonna get funny. I want to have sort of a little, like a bus interchange sort of situation, or at least a bus stop. Because I feel like for a transit-focused city, it would make sense to, okay, this might be a bit tricky, but if I bring this in, because it's indoors, I can't quite see what we're doing. Oh my gosh, okay, this is a terrible viewing experience. We're gonna just connect it this way. I've added a little loop inside this fake portion of the building. Can I place a bus stop? And then can I route a bus to it? Let's test. So you are T1. Okay, T1 and 1A, can I just very graciously request you to make a detour into our new flat pack furniture store, please. I hope you will work. Let's have some buses. Let's also very quickly check in on our red line here. Okay, not too many. Oh, 58, 41. Okay, that's fine. Decent capacities. It's the rail syndrome, isn't it? It's like when you need a bus, it doesn't show up, and then when you don't need it, 5 of them appear. Although in this case, I need a bus and 3 of them appear, so good enough for me. What? They're all not doing it. Oh, my... Is it because you don't go straight? What's gone wrong? I gave you a route to go into the... Maybe they just don't like meatballs. What are they doing? Okay, we've got one that's gone in, reluctantly. Then where are you going? Okay, so you should change lanes about here, I think. Yes. And then you turn in, right? So, okay, this is a very tight turn. Let's adjust this. And then that can be a little hidden bus stop. Okay, here we go. Take 2. There's a green bus coming in the direction it actually needs to. Will it go straight? We're good. Okay, it seems like the bus is doing its thing. No passengers at the moment, but that should work for now. So that is the IKEA functional. I want to tidy up the roadways a bit. So let me get the pavement halves here large. Okay, and then we will make this a wider pathway, because I would think at least that there'll be a lot of people walking along this area, so we'll give them a chance to actually walk. And there is quite a bit of land in this part, which I feel is a bit wasted. Maybe that can be an entrance to a petrol station? Let's see. We'll see what space is left after we've placed the main buildings, right? So, okay, IKEA's on one side, that's settled. Now let's move on to good old Costco, which I have never experienced a Costco until I went to Taiwan. So, because we don't have it in Singapore, there's no, I don't even know where's the nearest one. So, that was an entire experience in itself. If you two are unfamiliar with Costco, it's like a giant wholesale kind of brand that originated from the US. And they have it in Taiwan as well. You need to have a membership in it in order to make purchases, is my understanding. Yeah, so everything's just sold in huge packages. They were selling sheds. Like how? Why? Giant kind of floats and inflatable swimming pools. That was also another thing that they had. And so that was quite the experience to do. The food was good actually. I would go back for the food. But okay, in that spirit, I do want it to be at least big enough to warrant it being called a Costco. So I'm going to combine a few of them, I think. My only thing is it very obvious that I'm combining two of the same building? I want it to look convincing. Maybe if I do it this way. So it's a doubling up, but it's kind of facing in opposite directions to make up for it. Oh, but then we've got like a double Costco kind of situation. Okay, so like a slightly extended Costco. Okay, and the Costco is not that big. I'm just thinking, okay, maybe IKEA could get away with it because A, they were a bigger like building, and B, they have solar panels on the roof. But for the Costco, let's try and blend in some housing and stuff, like buildings that make it look like they did follow through with the whole low, like make use of the land situation, right? I don't think they'll go too tall. In fact, I might lean into the US, I don't remember which one, it's either northeast or southwest. But those style buildings, I feel this is the sort of thing that they would build on top of a Costco, right? So, if we did this, blend in, yeah, see, like this sort of building. Does that work? Does it look convincing? I'll be honest, I'm not sure, but it's okay. What matters is that we build housing for our population. The eyesores can be dealt with another time. This is so funny, like even in Singapore, I think it was a product of its time, but our big IKEA, which is in a town called Tampines, spelled P-I-N-E-S, thank you very much, was purely big box. Like they didn't make them build like housing on top of it. It wasn't located in a mall or anything. It was really just a standalone building. I don't know if they would allow such a development nowadays, to be honest. So maybe this is the future of big box stores, is that there's going to be housing on top of it, which I mean makes sense. In the end, it's all just like mixed use developments, but in different formats, right? So in this case, a mixed use development with big stores underneath. So it's essentially like an integrated shopping mall, just that the key tenant is a Costco, I guess. And just to make it look not like it's just random buildings on top of a Costco. Where are my grass kind of coverings? Let's use some of these. Oh, I don't know if we can get away with it. The texture is still there. Large square. Okay, we're good. Thankfully, it's letting me cover it up with grass. So just a moment, please. I will cover all of this and then get back to you. Okay, I've placed the main roads that I believe link to all of the connections of the building. We've also placed some trees just to make it look more like a building. So generally speaking, that's good. Now, it's time to build some very inefficient parking. Because this is the one area in the city where it makes sense to do it. So I'm going to do these things, right? And we're going to... Ooh, this is going to be like evidence as to me being from a place that doesn't really have this sort of parking, is that I don't really know how to do it. Okay, I'm going to extend this road. So maybe what it can be is a centralized parking facility around which there will be more buildings. That could be how we frame it. I'll get these parking roads Oh, which allows trees. Oh, that would be nice, but would that be in the spirit of a big box store? Probably not. So, how close to each road can we get? Can I go even closer? No. Okay, so the minimum is like a half square, let's say. I don't even know if I can do that for the other ones. Okay, and at least that way, we can still have trees in between, right? So, I might also just change these to actual roads. It might make more sense. I think these ones we will do that. How delightful. How inefficient. These seem like such a waste of space. Okay, we won't have too many. We'll say that the rest of the parking maybe can be a case of... let me get one of those taller parking garages. Or underground. Underground doesn't feel right for... Ooh, electricity, like solar powered ones. Maybe that's another... My only thing is, every bit of parking we place down means less buildings that we can develop. Oh, okay, this one looks good. Where's the entrance for... The entrance to it is there. I'm mindful that these parking building things tend to clog traffic a lot. So I don't want it to become a problem. So I'm going to place you there first maybe. And then we shall see. Also, instead of pure white, let's go slightly off. Slightly beige. Like that. It's a bit too orange actually, isn't it? There we go. Okay, our first parking building. Maybe this portion, this section here, right? We can make an entrance. Oh, look at that! Our trains actually have quite like 100-ish each. Oh my gosh. West Isle. Okay, our metro line's doing good, everyone. Just a random quick check-in before we continue. Yeah, it's picking up a decent number of passengers actually. So, back to this. We're gonna place this subway entrance just here. Okay, and then where's our McDonald's that we were looking at earlier? Can we get this into the area? So the nice McDonald's with the softer roof is what we're aiming for. Which is... Oh, we have this one as well, which is smaller. But is it too small? Because if I use the small one, we can put a few of these fast food chains next to each other. Okay, so that's the McDonald's. Oh yeah, okay, it's quite big. But what I could do is get the static ploppable of the building. Because the building's quite nice. Yes, nice McDonald's. So you've got this. And then we have as well a Starbucks, Taco Bell. This one we also need to... I think it's fine that some of them have parking actually. So what I might do is I'll bring this to the side. The McDonald's can maybe slot in here. Starbucks, you can do your thing here. And then Taco Bell, we can actually attach it to maybe the roadside so that people can enter and park and stuff. So that would be just the right amount of stuff. Okay, and then with the right kind of flooring, I think this area can come together in a way that makes sense. So the new metro line has been running for a bit now. It is currently midday in the city, so I've given the game a pause so that we can check in on the state of our public transport network. So, specifically with the red line, let's take a look. Oh, okay, so some good demand, I would say. In case you're not very familiar, the dots on the network line actually symbolize how many passengers are currently waiting. The larger the solid color inside each white dot, the more passengers are waiting. So, I like to keep it around sort of where we're at actually. So as you can see, we've got about like 50, 60-ish passengers around the key city center area. And with each train, we've got about, let's see, let's actually get the game going. For where the city's at now, where it's in its early stages, I do like having it at about this capacity, so about a third full per train, because that gives us the leeway to develop the line further. And with all of the empty space that we have currently, there's gonna be a lot more space and potentially a lot more passengers that we will be kind of catering for. I think the size of each train is good as well at the moment. They take up to 400 passengers each, so the red line is going well. The impact on the other lines, the existing yellow line. So, the yellow line currently stretches from Cubby Cliff Central, where it interchanges with the red line. It goes through Media City, and then it actually just stops by the pier, which previously serves the ferry. Oh, we'll have to check on the ferry as well. So, this one's gotten slightly more demand as well. Again, this is bouncing off the new demand coming from the red line as well. So I would actually say, given that there is currently only one train for the entire 4.5 kilometer stretch, I'm going to increase it to 2, just so that there is less waiting time for the passengers as well. And I think at this point, there is enough of a demand to justify a second train. So these are still the short trains, 400 passengers. And then as it develops further, we can adjust it again. The pink line I'm comfortable with. We've got 2 trains on a 7 kilometer stretch, so slightly further apart than I would like. But I think given that it currently goes from Media City into Birdsong, and the only developments we've done so far are just this area, we can leave it for now. Once we develop any other part of Birdsong Bluff, I would consider increasing the train frequency. Now, the key one that I'm curious to see if it's affected is actually 2 lines. The first one is our ferry line. Yep, see, so it has completely annihilated, actually, the demand for our ferries. So the ferry has been going along this northern stretch of West Isle. How confusing, so many directions. And previously, it was pretty much always full, like 70 to 80 out of 100 passengers per ferry. And now that the red line is basically duplicating it, it seems like not many people are taking it anymore. So because of that, we won't discontinue it completely. I feel like there are still instances where maybe it makes more sense, but we are going to heavily dumb it down. So I'm going to change it to 3 ferries across 19.7 kilometers. So it's approximately 6 to 7 kilometers of distance between each ferry. Let's see how it goes. If there's people who start needing to use it again, or it just takes way too long, we might increase the frequency. But I think, given now that the metro line is going to serve most of that demand, we should be good. The final one we need to look at is the Hammerson bus. So this was fully full, what English, before we built the metro line. But as you can see as well, there's not much happening anymore, and previously, we were running this line on overdrive with 9 buses in a 7.1 kilometer route. That's less than a kilometer per bus, which wasn't really a sustainable way of operating. So what we're going to do is lower it down to a more realistic, let's say 4. We will let the line run during rush hour and assess whether that makes sense. But I think this is a much better balance of buses running along this line. While we're on the subject of updating our transit system, I have some exciting additions to the game that just released in the last few days. So, the first one I've already gone ahead and actually updated. Here we have a new custom train. This is the creator, and it's supposed to be, I think, based on some European train. We are now using it for our regional express train. So I've gone ahead to use the generic version of this, and we've colored it in the Montai Transit colors. And so look at it, it is lovely. So it has a capacity of 600 passengers across 4 cars, and I think it's the perfect size, the perfect kind of design for what we're looking for. So this is going to be our new regional trains. I've also done a slightly different color scheme. Let's try and find it for the lines that are going to the border. So this is the one that is going, let's call it the international lines. A sort of blue-green color. It's not showing very well. Let's have it move off, and then I'll show it over here, because it tends to... Okay, perfect. Let's do it here. Once it goes by, we will show you. This is one of my favorite parts of the mods in City Skylines 2. Here we go. This is our international train in a slightly different color scheme. Looks very lovely as well, and fitting, I feel, for the Montai Transit branding. But yes, I love when things like this start appearing in City Skylines. My favorite part in the first City Skylines was when I could choose all these custom trains and stuff, and some of the trains from Singapore were actually in the game. So that hasn't quite happened yet, but we are starting to see bits of that forming. And here's the next one. So in the last few episodes, I've been rambling about wanting double-decker buses, right? So some of these bus lines actually do need adjusting as well, but what we're going to do is we're going to change it to the first double-decker bus that I've seen that satisfies my requirements, which is that it's right-hand drive, and, well, it's a double-decker. So on this first line that we're changing, it's actually not going to provide that much more capacity because I've been cheating and using this coach bus, which has 140 passengers. The double-decker also has 140 passengers. Oh my gosh, look at it. So this is the Volvo B8L. It is a double-decker bus if you live in places like the UK, Hong Kong. This was also briefly available in Singapore, but you'll be familiar with this kind of bus design. What I am going to do is I'm going to, rather than having that white roof, so these are going to be our new high-capacity buses. Oh, it's so cool to finally see double-deckers in this game. Let's follow our first one out. Here we go. And it does have these like generated bus numbers, and it does reflect the depot that it's based on. I'll have to think about how we're going to apply this to our naming convention. Oh, what has happened to you? That's horrible. This is why we're decommissioning the coaches. Okay. But yeah, so with this first line that we've added it to bus line T1, capacity-wise, it's actually not going to make a difference. It's just a visual thing. So we're gonna... Come on, coach! Go out of service. We are no longer using you, coaches. Okay, this is gonna be fun. So, let's have it go off. Oh no, you've been overtaken. Okay, that's fine. Look at it! It's a double-decker bus! Hopefully it doesn't topple. This fits so much more of what I need in my city, because again, I live in Singapore, most of our buses are double-deckers, so it's good to finally have something that reflects that. And thankfully, it was a right-hand drive Volvo bus, which is kind of common in Singapore as well. Not this specific model, but close enough. So I'm going to do the same with the opposite direction of this same line. So we're going to change that to the coaches as well. Basically, any bus line that I'm currently using the coach for with 140 passengers, I'm going to swap them right away to the double-decker, and it will be a visual change more than anything. And then for some of these other lines, it's also a case of actually assessing the capacity. So for example, right now with the Hammerson industrial bus, I do find sometimes, as you can see here, some of the buses do get very full. And so when this one moves off, okay, this one's fine at the moment, but during rush hour, there are cases where an odd bus will occasionally be full. So what I might do is actually enable this. Ooh, I don't know if this game's gonna spawn both double and single reliably. Let me try and do that by deleting a bus. Sorry, we're gonna have to delete you. Thanks for serving us. There we go. Okay, so we've got one double-decker after a few deletions. And so hopefully that will provide slightly more capacity to this line. And we'll see if this works. If it doesn't work, I will just fully replace it with double-deckers. Look at it in this color as well. So this, according to the game, is bus line 11. So Hammerson Industrial Bus, bus line 11. The bus service blocks, just because I haven't been naming our depots, and so it's going to reflect that way. But that should be good now. And then the one we definitely need to fix here is the Birdsong bus. So we have been using the custom single-decker Volvo bus, but I do find that sometimes when school is dismissed in the area, so our school is over here, the buses can't keep up. So school has already kind of finished for the day, so it's not going to show. But I'm going to swap it just so that we have excess capacity with each of these buses. I don't know that we'll need 5 buses anymore though. So because we've got more capacity per bus, I'm going to lower it to 3 buses, and then we'll see how this runs. I might actually also change the ferry feeder. Now, why are there so many passengers here? Are you all taking T1A? Okay, so the buses are currently still kind of respawning, so our demand's going to be all over the place. With this ferry bus, it's not really doing much for the ferries anymore, so I might swap you from an electric bus with slightly higher capacity to our single-decker Volvo. Slightly smaller buses, but they are at least based on real-world models, so that's going to be more fun. And then I've got this redundant line, bus line 1A, this green line, which for some reason just never gets passengers. We might have to reroute this one. because I feel like it's a routing issue more than anything. So we'll just have you at a low capacity just so that it's running for the time being. And I think that's good for all of the new buses. So we're gonna let that run for a bit. It's just about hitting rush hour as well. So we'll see once everything spaces out, because right now it's not great for the demand. Oh, actually, not great for this, I've just realized. So do we see this? Our double deckers might need a different bus stop than what we've done here. Oh, okay. Potential practical limitations of running double-decker buses in this city. Okay, I'll have to think about that for our hidden bus stop. But yeah, let's let it run for a bit, and then we'll see how it's doing. 146 people on our subway train heading back from Hammerson Pier. So I think that should be replacing the Hammerson bus. Let's compare it. So bus, Hammerson. So even with fewer buses, we are doing good. I might actually even reduce it to 3 buses. Because that's every 2 and a bit kilometers. Because we don't really need to be running that many buses if we've got a metro. So I shall see how I feel about that. Yellow line, now that we've added 2 trains. Oh, it's very empty actually. With the yellow line, I'm more concerned about frequencies. Because, ooh, hang on. We've got a bit of a weird reversal of train stops. Thankfully, we caught that before we increased frequency. Otherwise, that would have caused a huge problem in the future once all the trains start bunching up. Okay, there we go. We fixed it. Enjoy yellow train. And then let's take a look as well. Oh, wow. Our regional trains have pretty high demand. So everyone's going between North Isle and West Isle, like all the way up to West Isle Quay. So about half full. Again, given how early we are in our development, I'm actually quite happy with that. West Isle main station has quite a lot of sunken passengers just due to the reality of, you know, custom train designs and stuff. Let's actually watch a train pull into the stop. So this train's bound for West Isle Quay. Please mind the gap between your head and the floor, based on the way people are walking. Oh, have I actually... Oh no, okay, this is a good stopping distance. So this is lovely. I like how this specific... Oh wow, there's a lot of people. This specific train has pretty nice acceleration and braking curves as well. Like, it's much smoother, more realistic. Let's see if this moves off. Any moment now. And pretty healthy demand across all the stations. We are not having a case of 1 or 2 stations fully taken up and then the other stations are empty. Pretty much all the stations have some demand. So that's good for our train. The train's moving off into West Isle Quay. As yet undeveloped, but we've got some temporary buildings there just to create some demand. And even the other one that's going between North Isle and Birdsong Springs. So there's a train station here and in North Isle City Centre. This one's doing good as well. Oh wow, 200 passengers? 80? Okay. Yep, this is pretty much where I want it to be. Oh wow, there's so many people. Our transit network's pretty healthy at the moment in terms of demand and stuff. I was worried about this when we first started the city, and I spent like the first year with a very low population. So I was wondering whether our lines were going to actually have demand. And it seems like so far, what we've planned and what we've actually executed upon is making sense, thankfully. Look at that, 300 passengers waiting for a train. It's so dynamic when the city starts running with the transit lines and people actually start using everything. It starts to feel like it's a city that's alive and vibrant and actually running. Stay tuned, because in the near future it might become a case of too many passengers. But it's okay, that's the fun thing that we get to resolve. The ferry line, 27%. Okay. Yeah, I would say us lowering down the ferry demand, the ferry capacity actually might be doing us favors, because we're not running kind of empty boats anymore. And then with the red line as well again, pretty good. Okay, so I would say that our red line, Metro Line 1, is setting some very good foundations for us. we are going to have areas that we can now develop because we've got capacity to serve them. So the rest of Hammerson Pier, we can slowly develop this up. If you are watching this after watching a previous VOD, we might have done more work on this. It's just the way I have to record in advance, so I would refer you to that stream. There will be a future new town over here that's going to be kind of built up. The rest of the industrial district can now be built up as well, although there will be also other lines going through this area, so even more stuff can be served. Over on the other side, we've got the big box stores underway. We've got... I'll have to figure out how to serve the double-deckers over here. But there is stuff happening. You can finally buy Swedish furniture in this city. And I'm going to show you a picture of what I've been playing around with. But potentially, there's going to be a very high-rise, fancy residential area. I say fancy. It's probably actually more for public housing. But in terms of the scale of it, it's going to be large. Us having the red line in place actually sets us up to be able to cater to these huge residential units. And then we can even start working on the stadium/arena. So there is this new arena thing that Iceflake Studios did add. And potentially that could be an arena that we add as well. So this is the one. I am considering a few. There is one here. And then we've got a custom one. And the interesting thing about this one, it's called the Tammela Stadium, I think. It's a Finnish stadium. There's housing in it, which I wonder for noise pollution how that would work. Although we could pretend that it's maybe kind of hotels and stuff. So for kind of accommodation specifically for events, which would make sense. All of this development is going to be supported by the red line and the future lines that we develop around it. But yes, so it's going to be exciting times for the city ahead. With today's project, we are well and truly on our way to developing a transit-oriented city, and I'm looking forward to see this city come to life with all the commuters that will start using the line, and how it will impact the future neighborhoods that we design. I hope this was also an insight into how I approach the starting of a new line. And if you want to see more of the detail relating to this project, feel free to check out the live stream where you'll see all of our progress in real time. But yes, so thank you very much for watching, and in the meantime, stay safe and stay well.